Well, hello, folks. Coach Andrew here, coming at you on a Saturday morning. And today we're going to talk about something wonderful, something great that I'm sure all of you would love to hear about. And that is how to properly screen your prospects and your leads as a coach to make sure that you're only getting high quality clients who stick to their program, clients who do what they're told, clients who ask questions, right? And clients who just don't cause problems. Because these are the people that you as a coach are going to be able to serve at the highest level. You're going to be able to help them the most, right? Because the more you adhere to the program, the better your results are. And it's more of a win-win situation for everyone, because when a client encounters problems, when they start making excuses, when they start blaming you, they start blaming themselves, sometimes it's just going to make their life worse, especially if it's a client that you eventually have to cut from the program because you just can't deal with it anymore. Maybe you don't have time, you're getting too frustrated, they just won't listen to you. If you have to cut them from the program, then they feel like they wasted time and money. Maybe you have to deal with a refund or a partial refund. Maybe they leave a bad review for your business. Look, I don't think I have to explain this very much to you. It's just common sense that good clients equal a good business. So there are a few very important things that you can do during your screening process, during your onboarding process, to make sure that you have the highest quality clients possible. Now, obviously, there's no possible way that you could avoid every single bad client out there. Not every client's going to be perfect, and I am by no means saying that you should not take on a client because they aren't perfect. Because if a client was perfect, they wouldn't need a coach, right? The whole goal of you being a coach is to find people who are missing something, who need help with something, and you can provide that something, right? You can guide them to fill in that gap that they have in their life. And this is all very important to the screening process and the audition process, right? Because when you interview a client, the whole point of that interview is to identify what the problem is, right? That we call that the diagnosis. And this happens during the screening process. So you want to qualify your client, find out what they're struggling with. That's the diagnosis. Identify what they're struggling with, and confirm that you can indeed help them with that diagnosis. That you can be the doctor who provides the solution to the diagnosis. So let's move over here to my screen so I can draw some things for you. And we will continue to talk about screening your clients and how to keep good clients in your program. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the pre-screening process. So this is critical. And if you're just starting out, this is probably where you're making the most mistakes. This could potentially be where you're making the biggest mistakes. So when you pre-screen a client, if you're doing organic lead generation, you're messaging people on Facebook or Instagram, you're having conversations with them, and you haven't scheduled a sales phone call yet, you haven't really talked to them on the phone or on a video chat yet, but you're just talking to them to try to figure out if you can help them, there are some very specific questions that you need to be asking. So obviously the first question that you want to ask is, what are you struggling with, right? Because you want to make sure that this is a client that is right for you. This client is struggling with something that you can fix. So if you're a personal trainer, this client's struggling with weight loss, right? If you're a life coach, this client is struggling with maybe they just don't feel passion or purpose, right? If you're a relationship coach, they're having marriage problems, right? Very basic problems, but you want to establish what they're struggling with and why. And the why is very, very important. The more whys you ask, the deeper you dig. And the deeper down you dig with the client's problems, the closer you get to the source problem, right? So, why do you want to lose weight? Why are you struggling with this? Well, it's just really hard, and I keep failing, and I really just want to lose weight so I look better. Why do you want to look better? Well, I just want to look better so that I'm more confident, and I feel better about myself. Why do you want to be more confident, feel better about yourself? Well, because there's this girl I really like, and I've just been scared to go up and talk to her because I feel bad about myself. Why do you feel scared to talk to her? Because I don't like the way I look, and I just don't feel like I'm attractive. Oh, okay, so you want a relationship. You're lonely. You don't feel confident. You want to get your body back so that you can move into the next stage of your life, which is a relationship. That's really deep, okay? It's not just, I don't want to be fat anymore. It's, I'm lonely and I'm hurting and I want a relationship. Big difference there. So once you diagnose that problem, you can ascertain to yourself, yes, this is something that I can fix. This is a level of depth that I'm willing to go to as a coach. I'm willing to go to this level of depth with this particular client and help them fix this problem. That's the point of the diagnosis, right? You diagnose the problem. And if you're a doctor, right, if you're a doctor working in a hospital, misdiagnosis is medical malpractice, right? You get sued for that. You can lose your license for that. That's bad. And as a coach, we should hold ourselves to the same professional and ethical standards. Do not misdiagnose your prospects, right? Properly diagnose them. Make sure that you thoroughly understand the problem. Get them to agree. Repeat back what you're hearing. So you're lonely and you want to be in a relationship. It's not so much that you just want to lose weight. It's you want to get a girlfriend. Yeah, that's it. And when they say yes, that's it. You have it. That's the diagnosis. Okay? So confirming that is like step one. This is super, super basic. Make sure that you understand what they're struggling with, and then you can move forward. That's like the very first qualifier. So after we do our pre-screening, there's something very, very important you want to do next, and that is setting expectations, right? You want to set the expectations. This is something that I think a lot of other coaches fail to do. And what I mean by setting expectations is that you are explaining to the client before they come into the program or as they're coming into the program. I recommend before. You're telling them what to expect. You're telling them what to expect from the program. So you want to explain how the coaching will go, right? So, okay, you want to lose weight so that you can impress this girl and get her to go on a date with you. So here's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to do an assessment. We're going to take measurements of your body parts. We're going to do a body composition. We're going to do some, a basic push-up test, a sit-up test. We're going to do a 2-mile walk. We're going to gather a bunch of data. And this data is going to allow me as a personal trainer to establish where you are, where your level of fitness is currently sitting. And from there, we can benchmark things and make a program that will take you above that, above that, above that, and we will continue these assessments at regular intervals, every 2 weeks, every month. And we'll get new data, and we'll be able to graph these things and draw charts and see your progress as it happens, right? So this is like the core fundamental thing in my program. Now, that's a technical expectation, okay? Be brief with your technical expectations, right? Clients don't want to hear technobabble. They don't want to hear about step tests. They don't want to hear about heart rate. They don't want to hear about body composition. Be very brief. Explain it, but be brief. Otherwise, you'll lose them. The most important part of setting the expectation. All right, let me type that in here real quick. So avoid technobabble, right? That's when you're just saying things that are very technical. The client's not going to understand. Avoid technobabble. The most important thing you need to do in this stage is set the emotional expectations, okay? So, all right, I'm going to be doing all these tests. I'm going to be doing measurements. I'm going to be losing weight. I'm going to be doing programs that are, my heart rate's going to go up, and you're going to be watching and drawing graphs, and great. What does that mean to me as a client? It means it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, okay? Joe Schmo, you want to lose weight? We're going to do test and assessment. We're going to make you a program. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. It's going to be hard. Here's your emotional expectation. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to feel like quitting. You might feel like puking sometimes. You're not going to like this most of the time. And the first 2 weeks are going to be very difficult. That's different. That's different than technobabble. That is something that the client can understand and prepare for. You need to tell them, this isn't going to be easy, right? This is going to be hard. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to feel this way. We're going to start the program. You're going to give me a bunch of money. You're going to be nervous because you gave me a bunch of money. And then we're going to do a bunch of assessments. I'm going be writing down stuff you're not going to understand. You're not really going to know what's going on. And then I'm going to give you your program, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to tell you what each workout is. I'm going to teach you how to do these things, and they're going to be hard. You might not be able to squat to depth at first, right? Your knees might be bad. You might be too heavy. You might not be able to do sit-ups. We might have to modify things. You're going to feel bad about yourself because you're out of shape. You're not going to be able to do some of this stuff. But we're going to try anyways. We're going to modify. We're going to make it happen. And it might feel slow. It might feel like you're not getting anywhere. But you are, and you have to trust me. I am your coach, and I will make this work if you believe in me and you give me your best effort. That is the emotional expectation, and you have to set that for your clients. You have to. Do not lead them through the dark. Bring a lantern. That lantern is the emotional expectations. Okay? Super, super important. If you don't properly set your expectations, particularly the emotional expectations, your client will feel lost. They will get scared and they won't trust you. Be very clear about how hard this is going to be. Be very clear about the journey that is ahead of this client. Be honest with them, and they will trust you. And when they start to doubt themselves, you can say, remember that conversation we had a month ago about expectations? Remember when I told you this was going to be hard? And you said you would give me your best effort. You said you would trust me. And they'll say, yeah, I remember, coach. Let's keep going. All right? Super important. All right. The third thing that you need to do, third and final thing for this video, and this is optional, but I highly recommend it, is some type of mindset training. And I talk about mindset training a lot. I think that mindset, whenever I talk about mindset, I say these words. I cannot overstate how important this is. And I always say that because it's true. And for that reason, I can't give you the most specific guidelines with this because the truth is you understand your clients better than I do. Whatever type of coach you are, whatever type of program you're taking your clients through, whatever kind of problem you're solving, you have the most experience with your clients. You have seen what they struggle with the most. You have seen what kinds of roadblocks they have up here. And for a moment, I want you to think about the worst clients you've ever had. If you're a brand new coach and you haven't had clients yet, don't panic. Just pay attention to what I'm saying and implement it when you start. But think about the worst clients you've ever had. Think about the excuses that they made, right? So specific excuses, right? Specific complaints. Think about your typical client's background, right? So if like, we'll go back to the personal trainer example. If you're dealing with people who are overweight, think about their typical background. Odds are they probably come from a family that's overweight. They probably don't know much about nutrition. They've probably been teased and bullied their whole life. They've probably had very low self-esteem and low confidence their whole life. They probably feel like they're not athletic. They feel like they're not capable. Things like sports and gyms and weightlifting and running probably make them really uncomfortable. So think about your client, your typical client, and what they're struggling with, what their excuses are, what their complaints are. Think about the battles that they have to fight up here on a daily basis. And that is what you build your mindset training around. You don't have to call it mindset training. You don't have to call it anything. It can be an invisible part of your program that you implement piece by piece when it's needed. Or you can do what I do and deliver it up front in bulk before any part of the program is done. When I bring on a coaching client who wants to build their coaching business, they want to get better at sales, they want to do this kind of stuff, right? I help coaches build their online businesses. When I bring them on, I pre-screen them very thoroughly. I set the expectations, and when they come on, the first thing we do, the first step in the coaching conversion blueprint is mindset training. And I say, look, this might take a week. It might take 2. For some of you, it could take a month, but it's going to take as long as it needs to take. And I guarantee after it's done, we'll be revisiting it in the months to come, the weeks to come, because this is not something that you perfect all at once. This is something that you have to fight with for the rest of your life. This is something that takes a lifetime of effort to get good at. But we're going to make sure that your mindset is as close to good as it can be, right? Because I can't expect you to build a successful coaching business if your mindset isn't in the right place, if you're not thinking positively, if you don't have positive self-talk, if you don't have a good self-image, if you don't believe that your offer is valuable, right? If you don't feel confident enough to go into a sales call, I can't expect you to succeed.
I cannot overstate how important this is.
Joe Schmo, you want to lose weight? If you don't believe in yourself, I can't help you. If you've tried 18 different diets in the last 2 decades and you've failed every single time, and because of that you feel like you'll never lose weight, I can't help you to the best of my ability. I need you to believe that this is going to work. I need you to believe that you are capable of this. And if I have to explain calorie balance to you, every single little micro detail so that you thoroughly understand it and you believe that this is possible for you, I will do it. But the entire purpose of my mindset module is to dive into my client's head and figure out what they're struggling with. Are you bad at sales? Is it because your parents told you that rich people are evil? Is it because your parents told you that money corrupts people? Is it because you feel like you're taking from someone when you offer your program, because you don't feel like your program's valuable, because you don't feel like you're experienced enough, because you have imposter syndrome? This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. You got to dig in there. You got to dig in there and you got to get that crap out of their brain, because everyone carries just so much baggage, an unbelievable amount of emotional and mental baggage. You have to sift through that. You're a coach. That is your job. Your job is not to write programs and tell clients what to do. Your job is to walk your client through a transformation, and you cannot do that with a poisoned mindset.
Cannot overstate how important this is.
Okay. Those are my 3 tips. If you do these 3 things properly, if you pre-screen your clients before you bring them on board, you properly diagnose them and you find the core reasons for their motivation, you properly establish the why. If you set the expectations for them, explain what's going to happen and tell them emotionally what's going to happen, and you set the stage and you tell them this is going to be hard, this is what's going to happen, this is how you're going to feel, and when you feel this way, I am going to say this to you, and you're going to remember this conversation, and you're going to trust me, and we're going to keep going until it's done. And they agree to that. You make them agree to that. And then if you incorporate some type of mindset training where you continue throughout the program to dig into their mind, find out what they're struggling with, find their excuses, find their insecurities, identify the places where they are self-sabotaging. This is an art form. You cannot study this enough. It's psychology. You are a therapist. Make no mistake. As a coach, you are also a therapist. But if you do that and you address their specific complaints, you address their specific excuses, and you consider the typical background that a client comes from and incorporate that into some type of mindset modification, component to your program. If you implement these 3 things, you will have a much smaller turnover rate. You will have a much higher success rate. You will attract better clients who work harder, and you will keep them for longer and get better results, right? Because a client who has no ability whatsoever to change their mindset, a client who is super negative, has a fixed mindset, they will be repelled by these things. A client who is so insecure that they will fail no matter what will be turned away by the pre-screening. If they get through the pre-screening, they will be turned away by the expectations. Oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, I'm going to feel bad. I'm going to get scared. It's going to be painful. I don't want to do this. They'll get turned away by that. And if they're bouncing from your mindset training too, either your mindset training isn't good enough, which is fine, because you have to practice these things to get good at them, or a bad client got into your program, and they're going to keep bouncing off of things until they leave. So just remember, it's your job as a coach to try to help as many people as possible. But there is a line somewhere. You have to establish where that is, how much you're willing to put up with. And you have to try to keep as many clients on your side of the line as possible. Try to get the highest quality clients, the people who you can really, really help. This is triage, essentially, All right. You got to triage your prospects and pick the ones that you can help the most, people whose lives you can really, really change. That's the goal here. So do these 3 things. I guarantee you'll have more success with finding and keeping higher quality clients and repelling clients who will become failures. I wish you all the best of luck. Hope this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting all kinds of useful stuff like this. We talk about building coaching businesses. We talk about generalized entrepreneurship. We talk about mindset, self-development, fitness, health. I think that's everything. All kinds of cool stuff. I'm also releasing a podcast very soon. Doesn't have a name yet. Keep an eye out for that. I will be posting video versions for most of the episodes on this YouTube channel, and I'll be posting audio versions all over the place. I'm sure there's going to be details in the description. And you can also check out my website if you want to learn about my programs or my coaching. Done. We'll talk soon. Have a nice day.